All right, everybody, welcome to today's event brought to you by Silverstein Legal and attorney Corey D. Silverstein. My name is Dr. Chantel Tibbles, and I am here as your host for this Legal Impact Seminar, the third in the series. The adult industry is always under scrutiny, often from multiple angles. This can be overwhelming to simply keep up with, much less to know what to do, especially like today when there is a super relevant breaking news. This is why we have Silverstein Legal's Legal Impact Seminars. We're here to explore legal issues impacting the industry right now, as well as what's on the horizon, including strategies for action. Today's event, Crypto and NFTs in the Adult, Wave of the Future, marks the third installment in the Legal Impact series. Cryptocurrencies and NFTs have exploded in adult entertainment. However, has their acceptance and growth in the space stalled? Today, we're primed to have a serious discussion about consumer sentiment, content creators' perspectives, legalities, regulation, and conventional processing, all with leading players in the space. So in addition to this event being brought to us by Silverstein Legal, we'd like to thank Pays, our specific event sponsor, as well as XBiz, our exclusive media sponsor for an entire series. So thank you very much. Your support really helps us bring these educational events to the community. So super important. Now, before we hear from the attorney with the most and the man of the hour, I'd really like to introduce our speakers. So today we are going to hear from Cathy Beardsley as well as Marie Bossette, but I will let these two wonderful women introduce themselves, as my words cannot possibly do them justice. So hi, Marie, would you love to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do in our community?
Hello, I'm Marie Bossette. I am a content creator, porn star, and new to the NFT marketplace. So I'm here to talk about my project today.
Fantastic. This is so exciting. And it's really going to be great to hear from somebody who's actually using the technology, using the currency, and coming from a performer's perspective. Cathy, tell us about who you are, what you do.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Cathy Beardsley. I'm the president of Segpay. If you don't know who Segpay is or what we are, we're a payment facilitator. We offer gateway services and merchant account services. We're licensed in the UK and Europe to support our European merchants, and then we have a big following here in the US. And I'm very excited to be on this panel or webinar, as crypto is getting very near and dear to my heart.
Which is super exciting. So it's so great to have both of you here. Like I said, my words cannot do either of these wonderful women justice. Truly very exciting to share the space with them today. And now, last but certainly not least, we are here to hear from everyone's favorite attorney, the best in the business, the sharpest mind, the sassiest attitude, Corey D. Silverstein. Who are you? What do you do? And what happened today that, Nostradamuses you once again?
Well, I don't know where you got these introduction points from. It sounded like I don't know what that was. It was like an old Mike Tyson introduction or something. But welcome everyone. And I just want to echo what Chantel said. I would like to very much thank my dear Cathy, my dear friends Cathy and Marie. Really appreciate you guys doing this today. It is an absolute pleasure. You are both queens of your respective parts of this industry, and I can't thank you both for participating. Chantel, of course, thank you always for hosting. For those of you that I haven't met yet, I'm Corey Silverstein. I've been in the adult entertainment industry for approximately 18 years. I run a law firm out of Detroit, Michigan. Yes, really Detroit, Michigan. But I practice all over the world, including Arizona, DC, Florida, New York, Georgia, and the list goes on. But it's my pleasure to be here. And for those of you that need anything in terms of legal needs when it comes to the adult entertainment industry, I'm here for you. I'll share my contact information with you later on. Now, to start with, incredibly, it was absolute pure luck that for those of you that are here live today, and for those of you that are watching this and recording later, but for those of you that are watching live, we have some very huge industry breaking news that has been going on throughout the day in the last couple hours. The mainstream media is all over us. And the short end of it is that as a result of a decision that came out of the lawsuit against MindGeek, Visa, and a few others, the decision actually came out a couple days ago now, and that was the decision to deny Visa's motion to be dismissed from the MindGeek lawsuit. Judge Carney actually did not dismiss them. And what happened today is both Visa and MasterCard have shut down Traffic Junkie. This is a very substantial development in our industry. This is a major development, actually, and we're going to be talking about it quite a bit. For those of you that don't know what Traffic Junkie is basically the traffic arm of MindGeek. It's the arm that they utilize to buy, sell, trade traffic, what have you. CNBC is all over the place, and everyone is covering this, and it's just really been just an incredible afternoon in terms of the world of news as a result of this. It's just incredible that we picked a topic about alternative, billing, when here we are, and CNN and CNBC and everyone is blasting this huge news that we have as a result of Visa and MasterCard, obviously. So that being said, we are probably going to be talking about this particular issue a lot today, especially when Cathy's going through some of her topics. I'll be talking about it a lot. It's kind of an ongoing fluid situation, because originally it was a Visa thing, and then as the day went on today, MasterCard came out and apparently did the same thing, and we're still following this. And incredibly, on top of all that, between all that going on, we have one of the largest hedge fund owners in the world, a multi-gajillionaire, who has decided to, for whatever reason, throw his hat into this, and he was actually making all sorts of crazy demands by Visa today. So it's really been just a crazy day in terms of developments with this story. So that being said, Chantel, I think
it is the Wild West all the time in this industry. As soon as you think that you understand what is happening, or that you're going to get bored, or that you have it figured out, then today, which incidentally is the date today when we're recording this, August 4th, 2022, then today happens, and now we don't know what's going on. So there is all of that.
Yeah, it's Bill.
As
it's
people
Bill
are Bill Ackman. All right,
Bill Ackman.
There you go.
Yep.
That's the hedge fund guy. Okay. So as we move forward, if you guys have questions, pop them into the chat. Make sure that your name on there is as you'd like it, because this is being recorded, and we will be releasing this later for people who can't be here now to see. So let's jump right in. Cathy, has traditional processing volume gone down since the wider acceptance of cryptocurrencies? What has been your experience and Segpay's experience?
So to date, there's been no impact to card processing with crypto being rolled out. And I think early on, when merchants began to put crypto on their join form, it actually turned some consumers off, because crypto had this feel that maybe something illegal was going on. Crypto's been used on the dark web. It's been used to get ransom paid, and it scared consumers a little bit. But I do think the tides are going to change, and are starting to change, and it's something that we need to look at. I would say even our big banks are starting to look at adding crypto in as a payment option that they can offer their merchants.
So that's an interesting thing to think about, because big banks really, for those of us who are even remotely familiar with how things are regulated in our space, big banks have a lot of power, and it's it's kind of it becomes kind of alarming when you really start to dig at that. So why would, just to kind of pull on that one thread, why would big banks start becoming more receptive to crypto? Could there be anything tied into generational moves? Is there an age bracket? Is there something there that we're seeing?
So there's a couple things. Over the years, there's been some regulation on crypto. So it's not illegal to to transact in crypto in the US, and both in Europe and the UK, they have legislation that allows crypto providers to be registered. So it's getting a little more regulated. There's a little more fencing around it, so people are getting comfortable. From my perspective, I think the younger generation will move to a digital currency. I'm a little afraid of it, but I'm also older. I gave an example earlier where St. Jude's Hospital put Bitcoin out as a way to donate, and they picked up $1 million in donations through coin. And it was all from the Gen Zers, the much younger generation was willing to donate via crypto. So for me, it's important as a younger consumer starts moving to our merchants, I want to be prepared.
Right, absolutely. So that's a really interesting thing to think about too, that, you know, like, just because we're a certain age doesn't mean that everybody else is. So we have to be mindful of, you know, somebody turns 18 every day, and we need to think about what that 18-plus-year-old bracket is interested in terms of payment. So thinking about, you know, consumers, new people coming to the space, specifically our adult entertainment space, what happens to processing in adult as card companies start to pull away?
So well, hopefully the card companies don't pull away, and we just
hopefully
add some more options.
But what happens?
So if card companies pull out, then, you know, we're going to have to start moving to alternative payments, one of them being crypto. There's a lot of local payments in different countries that we could move to, but they also might follow suit with a Visa, MasterCard. So we could come down to it where it's only crypto. And today, right now, crypto it's a solution for the adult market, but it doesn't work on recurring billing. So a bunch of membership sites, the rebills that we all live on can't be processed through crypto. It's a nice solution for campsites because those are all single token purchases or one-time purchases. And the other unique thing about crypto is that you can't validate the amount that the consumer is going to send. So I can say it's $100. I want to, it's $100 worth of tokens, and I could only send 90, and there's no way to check that. So there's still some things that need to be worked out in offering crypto as a payment option, and things we would have to live with.
So that's really interesting too, because you mentioned two specific things, the I guess we call it the verification of the amount, as well as the recurring billing. Those are sort of bumps to crypto. Are there any other reasons for the slow roll of crypto? And are those concerns real? Like, how significant is that can't verify concern, things like that?
I think those are not big concerns. I was always asked about, Cathy, when are you guys adding crypto in? When are you going to add crypto? And then I would take it to my wonderful compliance team, and they would break out in hives and tell me never. But I've actually gotten them past the point where everyone's very comfortable adding it in. Their number one concern is the anonymous nature of crypto. But as we learn more, that when you open up your wallet, they have to do KYC on the individual opening up the wallet. So there's some validation going there. There's also tools in place that help validate the transactions. So there's more fraud tools in place today. So I think that's helpful, and that's wiping away some of the concerns. And the only other concern, I always thought crypto would be great for payouts. And to me now, that's the one that's maybe more concerning, because again, we're paying to a more anonymous nature. And then also we have AML rules that we have to follow. And one of those is we have to make sure people are paying their taxes. And so there's no way to validate, are they reporting their crypto on their tax returns and so on. But go ahead.
What an interesting thing to think about, of who it is responsible for making sure people are paying their tax.
That's what I know. It makes me scratch my head, but we have all these regulatory licenses, and we get audited to make sure that we know that people are paying their taxes.
I mean, somebody's got to do it apparently. So
Yep.
let's kind of put a pin in that for a second here and thinking about what's going on there. Corey, let's jump over to you and talk a bit also with Cathy about crypto replacing traditional credit card processing in adult. So everybody, well, I should never say everybody because that's assuming, but many of us are very familiar with changing in MasterCard regulations. You just introduced and told us about something that happened just today, yet another blow to processing. Did the regulations cause any increase, or the regulations changing, did it cause any increase in crypto adoption or any change in the tide? What are your thoughts here?
Well, so first, real quick, I noticed that Chris Roger, who was a little bit late, he's from Pays and they're our sponsor today. So I did just want to give a shout out to Chris and thank him and our friends at Pays for sponsoring today. We really do appreciate that. So thank you, Chris. Now, to answer your guys' question, or your question, Chantel, the answer to that question is what's going on in the credit card world. Is ultimately, MasterCard and Visa are the two that we're most concerned about because they basically control the universe, or our universe, so to speak. As MasterCard and Visa continue to be forced in a way to have to implement more regulations on high-risk merchant processing, you will see more people, I believe, that are saying, you know what, we just can't comply with this or won't comply with this. And they will turn more to crypto in terms of payment options. But you have to really, hear what Cathy said earlier, because what Cathy said earlier is spot on. There's still some pretty substantial limitations with cryptocurrencies, i.e. rebilling. Rebilling is a massive issue because ultimately you really can't say, you really can't, I guess a website operator, Cathy, really can't enforce, recurring billing the way they are, now, and that's going to be a big deal. But if you look, Chantel, at what previously happened with Mastercard, now we have this big news today that once again Visa and Mastercard are being reactionary. I mean, that's really the word here. They are reacting to headlines. They are reacting to things like Ackman, this massive billionaire hedge fund investor who has now turned his attention on MindGeek, and 2 days ago started talking about asking Visa to shut it down. And then look what happened. Visa did it, and MasterCard turned around and they did it. So we have a lot of reaction going on. And so that opens up the door, and that obviously makes other forms of processing a little bit more attractive than they historically did. Because I mean, look, if you're a business person and you're seeing repeated attempts by, credit card regulators to make your life more difficult, quite frankly, you'd be almost irresponsible to not be thinking about cryptocurrency as potentially, a future solution, because it's only going to grow. There's people who, make the argument, oh, crypto is just a fad. It's going to be gone. It's a giant scam, what have you. I don't agree with that at all. And I actually believe that cryptocurrency is only in its infancy right now. I think that we have a long way to go. I think we're just touching the beginning here. And so as the technologies evolve, I think you're going to see more expansion as the credit card companies continue their regulations.
Corey, tell us a little bit about how Judge Cormac J. Carney's recent decision not dismissing Visa, how does that factor? Like, I know it's you're talking about reactionary and alarmist and this and that. Tell us a little bit about that specific instance that just happened earlier in this week too. Now it feels like old news with the traffic junkie news, but how did that factor into this?
Well, that is the traffic junkie news. It's that judge in that case that led to this. So ultimately in that case, Visa was being labeled as a quote unquote co-conspirator with MindGeek. And in the judge's decision, the judge determined that MindGeek could potentially be a conspirator because they could have stopped offering their payment service to MindGeek. So now this is the judge didn't rule that ultimately Visa is responsible. The judge just refused to let Visa out of the case. And this is where kind of all the, call it the dominoes started going this week. So Judge Carney made that ruling. Then you have Ackman, who came out and started saying that, they should immediately terminate, Visa should immediately terminate MindGeek. This led to Visa and MasterCard re-looking at, Visa and MasterCard had already stopped processing Pornhub Premium. That was already, a done deal. This made them take another look at it, and ultimately, they decided that, okay, well, now we're going to stop processing MindGeek's traffic arm. So what we're seeing here, Chantel, is we're seeing one judge who made some headlines, and once again, these headlines made it to mainstream media, and so very quickly, Visa and MasterCard, reacted. Remember that all this started because of an article on the cover of the New York Times. That's what started on this. That's what started this whole pattern of, MasterCard's updated guidelines, and Cathy can certainly speak to this. This all started as a result of headlines on a newspaper, and people started putting public pressure on Visa and MasterCard. MasterCard didn't just one day say, okay, well, we're going to, create these new guidelines just out of the blue because we want to. No, they did this because they got tied into a cover story in the New York Times. That's what happened.
Yeah, so it's more optics than it is actual concern.
Well, unfortunately, that's the world we live in. We live in the world of headline news now. You read the headline and nobody seems to read the article. That's the world we live in. And so ultimately, when MasterCard gets labeled in an article as somehow being supportive of child pornography, what do they have to do? They have to do something. And that's the world we kind of live in.
Right. So thinking about that world, let's shift gears a little bit here. You've said that you're seeing in your practice tremendous growth in NFT launches. Yep. Can you give us some examples of what you're seeing? And then can you talk a little bit about NFT rights for content producers and performers?
Sure. I mean, and I can't wait to hear from Marie, because Marie is, one of the launched her own NFT, and things have, really taken off for her. So she's going to be our perfect example. But what I've noticed especially in the last 12 months, the inquiries that we're getting at my law firm for clients who are looking to start adult NFT projects, adult NFT platforms, adult NFT marketplaces, it is basically turned into an everyday thing now. And so what that means is that people, especially on the entrepreneur side, are seeing that there is a marketplace for people that want to buy adult NFTs and want to be in the NFT exchange game. And so what we're seeing, Chantel, is we are seeing I don't know if you want to call it, you can't even call it an evolution, because it's not. This is just it's like a rocket ship blasting off. And again, I can't state this enough, that I believe this is all in its infancy. Some people will say, oh, it's been around now for a couple of years and blah, blah, but I don't agree with that. I think we're still in the infancy, and we're going to see a tremendous amount more of NFT platforms popping up. Adult performers and content creators are, and always have been, geniuses. And they are always geniuses at finding ways to get their content out there. And we've seen this. We saw this with the way it used to be with conventional shooting. Then we saw things evolve into the tube sites. Then the tube sites evolved into the fan style sites. We're not going to name any specific products or platforms because it's not necessary, but we've seen it evolve into that. And so now performers have another way to get their content out there and monetize their content.
So then let's take advantage of the opportunity that we have right now here and hear from a genius, because you actually gave such a great introduction to Marie and sort of built this up. So Marie, let's go in and talk about, and we can get back to Corey's legal discussion of rights and all that stuff in a minute, but let's hear exactly what is going on in real time in the space. Can you tell us about your new NFT product, why you decided to launch it, what it's all about?
So this is new. This is exciting, and it's a new platform, being out in the metaverse and not just on the internet. The NFTs are kind of catered specifically to individual fans. you create your NFTs, they open their wallet, they connect to your website, and they get on OpenSea, and it's a surprise when they get what they've purchased. It's a huge surprise. And it's definitely a way to connect with the younger generation who is moving to cryptocurrency. I still have fans that want me to autograph a picture, mail it to them, and they mail me back a card with cash in it. And that'll always be there. That's our baby boomers. It'll always be there, but we're advancing into the next generation of very individual content and being able to accept other currency.
So then, in terms of getting people to pay, how do you do that, right? If somebody is thinking about launching any form of NFT project, how do you go, pay me in crypto? Like, how do you do that? How do you get somebody to do it, I guess? More the get.
So I had to have a new website created, mariebossette.io. And my project manager did a great job linking the website to OpenSea. You have to have your MetaMask wallet and connect. But as far as getting people to go there, this is a very discreet way to purchase content. So it comes up, it's not a payment processing center that is linked to the adult industry on their credit card statement. It's their wallet, their private wallet. So this is even more discreet than people were trying to be before.
So then is discretion something that you, I guess, I don't want to say advertise, but is that something that you tout when you talk about, oh, here's this, here's that, come check this out? Is that a way that you would connect maybe? So it sounds based from both you and Cathy that getting people to kind of pay via crypto for your younger fans, that's sort of a bit more seamless. But if you're speaking to somebody who is maybe hesitant about paying in this way or something like that, do you use discretion as an advertising tool or as a perk, or as, is that how you would connect, saying, oh, this is very discreet?
Yes, especially for the fans that are still trying to send you cash in the mail or the Amazon gift card. This is very discreet.
Right. So then they're willing to maybe take the jump, engage in the new technology or engage in the new process or learn the new thing. Discretion is enough of a tantalizer to kind of get people to go into uncharted waters for themselves. Then
yes, it is educating your fans on how the process works and that they can use their credit card, their bank account, or other payment wallets to put money into the wallet that is going to connect them to your NFT marketplace on OpenSea. It's very appealing, very appealing. And the older generations do sit down and read through and find out how to do this because it's, that's how they want their content. They want their content that bad. Right. They're going to go ahead and they're going to do it.
It is a driving force.
See, there's a couple things there, Chantel, that Marie said that that have to be emphasized. And, of course, people in the world who want to get their adult content have always wanted discretion. And so, of course, we have the, a new means of being able to, maintain that privacy. But two other things that came out of and I was just jotting some stuff down as Marie was talking, was number one, now more than ever in the fan world and in the social media world, individual adult content users want interaction with their favorite performers, with their favorite content producers. They want to interact with them. They want that individualized content. And the NFT marketplace, like in Marie's case, she can create unique NFTs for her customers that then the customer feels a lot more special, because it's not, they own something that isn't just a piece of content that is out there, you know, all over the damn place. It's an NFT that that particular customer owns. And I think that really gives them, you know, that extra motivation, and it gives performers like Marie the ability to, you know, really get that individualized connection. And then the other thing is that what Marie mentioned, that is really important, and this was something that I believe there's a lack of. I believe one of the things that has stopped the evolution of cryptocurrency is simply that there's a lot of fear and that people don't understand how to use it. And there's not enough education out there. That was the word that Marie used that I want to rehash, that there needs to be more education to people on how to take USD, convert it into a form of cryptocurrency, and then go out into the NFT space. And there's not a lot out there. But from what Marie said, it sounds like that performers are starting to take the time to actually educate their customers themselves, to be like, okay, here's how you do it. And I think that's going to lead to the growth as well.
For sure. It sounds like, I mean, in many ways, it's just kind of like explaining to any kind of customer, this is how you pay me, this is how this works, like make a quick tutorial, make a quick little outline, any kind of thing that can help people understand that this is maybe not necessarily as intimidating or scary or confusing of a process. So back to Marie, I'm so curious, as you're sort of charging forward into this space and doing all of these kind of out of the box things, because I know that it's still pretty out of the box, right? Are you getting any pushback? Are you getting pushback from the industry, from the community, from people who are like, oh, this is too wild, stop it?
I haven't gotten any pushback from the industry, because I think a lot of people are just still sitting back and watching, waiting to see what happens, waiting to see who goes out there and what the outcome is. Pushback from our baby boomers, for sure. They're very set in their ways, very used to receiving their content a certain way, and not willing right now to go into the unknown. But then you have the other ones that the discretion is, oh yes, you know, sign me up, I'm there. And it's just not, your NFT project is what you make of it and what you put out there. And you can do more than just what you see, these cartoon characters. I have my feet, my actual feet, pictures of my feet, and it's real content. It's not cartoon characters. It's real content.
So it sounds like there's probably a lot of different options and a lot of different things that people can do, and it's just a matter of exploring it. So this is probably a redundant question, but would you suggest, you know, content creators out there today that are looking for something new to do, some new way to monetize, some new way to expand? I mean, you'd obviously suggest that people find their way into the NFT space.
Yes.
Yes, for
100%,
sure.
yes.
So that's really that's super interesting. And there's this whole new place for people to learn. At the same time, I have a little pushback question, because I'm kind of curious, you know, you just were talking about how you can educate people, how they can fill their wallets, how they can use cards or different forms of banking, etc. Are you ever concerned about converting cryptocurrency into traditional dollars? Any concern about the volatility of crypto prices? Any concern at all, I guess, at that intersection that we still see between crypto and conventional currency?
There's always going to be a concern, especially if you look at what the cryptocurrency does on a day-to-day basis. it can be a little scary seeing it go up, down, up, down, up, down. But this is definitely a long-term gain. You need to, you know, sit back and see where it's going. Don't be scared of what's happening today might not happen tomorrow. And I know a lot of content creators, they're used to having their gift or their money in their hand immediately. This is something that is going to grow over time. So this isn't, you know, this isn't your fast cash, pop on your webcam and, you know, cash out your money to your Venmo or Cash App, whatever, immediately. This is something that you need to see grow. And then that gets you into the game of buying and selling cryptocurrency, buying other people's NFTs. This isn't just, you know, get on, cash out, and be gone. This is long term.
Gotcha. So there's definitely a new space. Corey, we're actually going to jump back to you. I hear you wanting to comment. So comments, and then also, can you talk a little bit about NFT rights for content producers and performers? So we're telling people right now, there's all this new space to explore, but how do you protect yourself?
Well, the first thing that before I jump into that, I just want to mention that Marie's point about volatility is something that, you know, this is the argument, and this is the reasons why, you know, when you go back to conventional processing, and now we kind of move back a little bit towards Segpay and what Cathy does, obviously you still have, you know, the processing in USD there, and you take the volatility equation out. And this is why, you know, Visa and MasterCard USD will continue to be the gold standard, because ultimately, you know, you don't have a BTC that's worth 65,000 one day, and then a week later it's worth 32,000. I mean, that sort of volatility you're not going to see in conventional credit card processing. And that, Chantel, is, I believe, the counter argument as to why so many people are still quite resistant of cryptocurrencies, because they feel safer going with conventional processing, and why, you know, companies like Cathy, you know, spend so much time, money, resources. Segpay, I think I said companies like Cathy. I meant to say companies like Segpay.
Cathy is her own company.
Yeah, well, but this is why, you know, companies like Segpay spend so much time, money, you know, into protection, security, compliance, and so forth, because you get that security that a lot of people feel they don't get with cryptocurrency. And this is, you know, a huge thing. Now, going into the question that you asked, you have to start thinking about, especially in the NFT world, if you're a performer or if you're a content producer, you need to start thinking about rights that either you're acquiring or you're giving up. If you're a performer and you don't want to give up your rights to whoever it is that you're shooting for, shooting with, whatever, you don't want to give them the NFT rights. You need to think about that and make sure you're taking that into account when you're signing off on your performer release, because oftentimes performer releases are very all-encompassing, and they will convey all rights that might potentially be out there to the producer making the content. So you have to keep that in mind. So again, if you're a performer and you want to retain your own rights to, you know, NFTs and whatever, this is something you might want to carve out in your model release. Now, the same thing to content producers. This is not something that you guys have had to think about historically. Historically, content producers, when they pick up a camera or a video camera, whatever, they're recording you and what have you, and then they're taking it, turning it in for common distribution, which is now, you know, 90% internet, actually 99% internet, maybe 1% DVD. For those of you that are old enough, VHS tape, that's a joke. I don't think any of you are still using Oh, let's see it. We got one guy waving. He's got VHS tapes. You see, someone's still distributing on VHS. You got to think about that. And so if you're creating content now, and specifically you are intending on launching NFTs and taking that content, you need to be very careful about what you have in your licensing, or excuse me, in your agreements with your performers, because you want to make sure you have those rights. What you don't want to do is you don't want to be in a situation where come in the future, you're going to have a performer who you believed had assigned all of her rights to you in this content come back and say, whoa, 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 you owe me royalties now because you're taking this NFT, whatever. So this is a very big deal that you have to think about now that you really didn't have to think about a couple years ago. And this is a very big deal. And even, for those of you that, acquired rights to content, years ago, you got to go back to those content agreements and look at, do you even have the right to turn the product into an NFT? And this is a very big area that is going to only grow in our industry. And you have to start thinking about it from both the performer side and the content producer side. Because as a content producer, you want to be able to monetize content in any way that now exists or might come about later. Same way, if you're a performer, you might want to do your own NFT, and NFTs rights are maybe something you don't want to give out. So this is a huge deal, Chantel. And now, in whether you're a producer or a performer, you absolutely have to consider this. You have to.
Corey, how to say, facepalm question has just been drawn to my attention. Can you tell us what an NFT even is?
What an NFT is?
Mm-hmm.
Well, NFT stands for non-fungible token, but an NFT, it's hard to kind of describe, because ultimately what an NFT really is it's a kind of an exclusive piece of digital code that gets traded on the blockchain. And so, the best example that I can ever really give to people is the NBA Top Shot example, because NBA Top Shot was really the first, NFT, I don't know what you want to call it, NFT platform, NFT, play that really came into mainstream market. And so ultimately, if you think of an NFT, think of a image, a video, but something that is assigned a very specific piece of code in the blockchain that it is unique, meaning when someone downloads a specific NFT and they now own that particular NFT, no one else can own it. So for example, in Marie's, we'll use Marie as an example. If Marie does a special Marie August foot NFT, she might only do 10 of them. And so those 10 NFTs are now worth considerably more because it's a limited edition. For those of you that are old enough to remember trading hockey cards and baseball cards, and this is how I did it, back when I was a kid, we had conventional baseball cards and hockey cards. Baseball cards and hockey cards were always limited in number, limited in series. NFTs are very much the same way. It's just the digitized version of hockey cards, baseball cards, and it's using blockchain technology to keep track of it all. So that's probably my best explanation I can give you without starting to tear into code and blockchain code and open source code, without literally putting everyone to sleep and potentially confusing the shit out of everyone, including myself, because I'm still figuring it out.
I would just like everybody to know that Corey also revealed that he's Canadian just now, talking about hockey cards, if anybody missed that.
I wish hockey cards were still as valuable as they were when I was a kid. Nobody collects hockey cards anymore. So
that's because we're not Canadians.
So if any of you out there, other than Chris Roger, are interested in buying my hockey card collection, please let me know, because the only thing that anyone tells me now is that they collect dust, but I'm going to hang on to them.
Let's back away from the hockey cards for a second here. And now think about, we have these two really interesting, really vibrant, because again, we like to make fun of the boomers and we like to make jokes about the geriatric set and the VHS tapes and whatever, but there's still a lot of exchange happening, and there's still a lot of stuff happening, and there's still a lot of vibrancy in the conventional space. And there's obviously a pioneering amount of things to do in the crypto NFT space. So thinking about these two dueling pillars that we have right now, do they have to be dueling, in the sense that what can we do right now? What can we see right now where we see crypto and conventional processing working together, intersecting? What kinds of ways can conventional currency reach into the crypto space, and what kinds of ways can crypto connect with conventional currency and kind of bridge these gaps, rather than be like crypto good, conventional bad, or vice versa? Cathy, what do you think? I want to hear from Cathy, not you.
Well, that's a phenomenal question. And I was actually going to say, Chantel, please ask Cathy, because I think there's been people, and Cathy, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're getting people every day now that are coming to you and saying, hey, like, I want my NFT project to be able to accept credit cards.
I am getting requests for us to process for NFT projects. Some of the bigger platforms, they're doing something similar to Marie, where they're giving their content creators another way to monetize and get their content out there. And so then I go through the whole experience of explaining to the bank what an NFT is. So there's some education that we have to do on what it is, and then getting each of the banks to view it the same way. I have one bank that views it as an asset and they won't touch it. I have another bank that's open to it, and you have to, as long as its price points are within a parameter, and you can show me licensing agreements. So there's a lot of education still to go on in the banking world on NFTs. If you think of crypto and traditional currency, I mean, there's there's obviously the whole stablecoin space where it's tied to currency, and the solution that we're actually implementing will immediately convert the crypto to fiat. So no one's going to lose out on the exchange fluctuations. So we're starting to see a convergence there, and you are seeing, PayPal allows you to buy and sell crypto. Visa and MasterCard allow you to, I think, move your coin to a card. Two of our big banks in Europe are adding crypto in as a payment option. Even more surprising, one of my big banks that actually does deposit settlements is going to allow for settlements to coin options. So the banking and crypto, it is getting more melded, and it seems like there could be a happy place for everyone to hang out and play together and grow together and make money.
So Cathy, so for people that are actually now considering to launch their own NFT or their own NFT product, and they, are looking for, the mechanism for turning credit card processing into NFTs or cryptocurrencies, they should, so basically they should be coming to Segpay, correct? To have that business idea evaluated to see whether Segpay can pull it all together for them?
Yeah, of course. Like I said, we have banks that are open to it. We just have to do a lot of explaining. They want to see it, touch it, tell me how it works. What's their exposure? That's where the banks start looking at it as an investment, things like that. So we're open to it, and they're open to it. I think we even had one merchant that was you would sign up for a membership and they would give away an NFT. That was kind of one of their thoughts. So everyone's toying with it. Like Marie's in the right spot. She's ahead of the game.
Marie's got the right idea. And I thought about doing like a Corey NFT, but then when I surveyed the people, I realized that no one had any interest in it whatsoever. So I kind of killed that idea immediately. But it's, Cathy, it's like you're spot on, because I think Marie is just like right at the beginning. And I think that you're going to be seeing more and more and more of it. And I think that the interplay, the interrelationship between conventional credit card processing, NFTs, cryptocurrencies, credit card companies, I think, would be naive not to become more open to it, because there's so much. Look, let's be honest, credit card companies make money off of processing credit card transactions. And so there's going to be so many more, crypto-based transactions that I guess, wouldn't you think, Cathy, that the credit card companies would be silly to almost pass on the opportunity to make more money going into the future?
Yeah, no, I don't think they're passing. I know it's probably on all of their drawing boards on how they keep adding it in and make it part of their solution.
Because you mentioned PayPal even, and I know, I read the same thing, that PayPal wants to be more and is already opening up the door to more of the currencies. And, obviously Coinbase is really the main one that everybody mentions. But I guess would you be surprised, Cathy, if you think we saw like more banks, main banks that people hear every day saying like, yeah, we now have crypto accounts and so forth?
Yeah, you will. I think I want to even say our 401k that we have here now, you can invest in crypto. I mean, you can put money in. I mean, the investment houses are doing it.
Can I have a job? I mean, I'll take that 401k. That's a good idea.
Marie, what do you think about this? What do you think about the idea that there, in this, again, pioneering space, that there are big banks that are out there trying to find ways that they can connect with the NFT? Does that seem sort of, I don't know, do you like that idea? Does that, or do you want to keep it in the wild space, if that makes any sense?
I think leaving your coin in the metaverse and seeing what else you can do with it. There's going to be more options out there. So I think sending it to a bank is not going to be necessary at all. I think that soon you'll be able to make your Amazon purchases, your grocery store purchases, everything just using your cryptocurrency and not having to exchange anything into dollars. You can go into a casino in Las Vegas and go up to a cryptocurrency machine and you can gamble with your cryptocurrency. It's, there's no need to take it out and put it into a bank. I think it's going to stay in the metaverse.
What an interesting thing to think about. And then who knows, 5 years from now, we might be talking about cryptocurrencies as if it's just some regular old exchange thing, like going from dollars to pounds to this to that. Who even knows?
I mean, we've seen like different groups, agencies. You can now, you can gift cryptocurrency, you can donate it, and the usage.
Cathy just told us about that.
Yeah, our office actually, we accept it now. We accept literally like any form of cryptocurrency that's remotely stable. We actually accept it in lieu of traditional payments. So it's, I certainly see more use out of it. I think I made a joke with my doctor the other day, and he actually had no idea what I was talking about, but he's old, but
Well, yeah, the day I can go and pay my doctor, my dentist in cryptocurrency, then we'll know, right?
I think Starbucks still takes Bitcoin. I'm not positive because I frankly wouldn't pay for Starbucks using Bitcoin, but I think they still take it.
Do you know, Marie? Do they?
You can connect your wallet on your iPhone to your Starbucks account. So whatever's in your wallet, you connect directly to your Starbucks card. And I know I have a pretty huge Starbucks account. Yeah, you can be a Platinum Chicago Reserve member. You get a black card and everything. Yes.
Whoa.
You see, like, I don't drink coffee, so I don't really go to Starbucks, but you see what but this is the thing to think about, Chantel. It's like, Marie even, mentioned gambling with it. And it's just like, with the evolution now of every damn casino having an app now that you can easily gamble online. I mean, that's another thing to think about that, quite honestly, I hadn't really thought about until Marie just brought it up. So that's a very good thought, Marie.
So many things to think about. And I think I'm probably not alone in coming away from this conversation with the realization that these things actually aren't as, I don't know, outer limits as I originally thought. That it's actually, there is a lot of interplay happening. Things aren't as separated. And as per usual, the adult industry finds ways to innovate, to push back, to grow, and really, honestly, in my opinion, to give back to the world. The world is a better place because of the adult entertainment community. And I maintain that still, even with this discussion about currency exchange.
Why is it, Chantel, why is it, and I always use this example, why is it that Blu-ray won the battle over HD DVD? Do you know the answer?
Do you know the answer?
I do know the answer.
Tell us, Corey. Tell us the answer.
Because the porn industry accepted Blu-ray over HD DVD, and that is an absolute fact. And you can talk to people in that industry, and they will tell you that is why Blu-ray won that war. And as we have always done, for those of you that have forgotten or haven't been around in this industry long enough, I've been around quite a while. My man, Chris Roger over there has been around for quite some time. The adult industry has time and time again proven that we are first in terms of adapting new technology, and then everyone else follows suit. And I believe that will never change, because the fact is that people are continue to want their adult entertainment. They're going to seek it out, and they're going to want it easier, faster, cheaper. And so cryptocurrency, NFTs provides yet another opportunity for that. And that's why, as usual, I see the adult entertainment industry being one of the leaders as this technology evolves.
Again, always finding a way to survive, evolve, push the boundaries, and benefit humanity. We are about out of time. Real quick wrap up here. Cathy, if people have questions for you or want to reach out, how can they get a hold of you?
Just Cathy at Segpay. So Cathy with a C at segpay.com.
Segpay.com. Thank you so much for being here. It was so awesome. Marie, if people want to reach out to you, how can they get a hold of you? Where can they find you?
Fan mail at mariebossette.me.
Fantastic. And Corey, if people want to get a hold of you, where can they reach out?
Open up a window and just start screaming. I will be there. All right, I'm just kidding. You can reach me at my email address, Corey@silversteinlegal.com. You can reach me on Twitter, which is at myadultattorney. I'm on virtually every platform you can think of, xbiz.net, xbiz.com. So, and of course, you guys can always reach out to me. If anyone wants to pick up the phone and call me, my phone number is 248-290-0655. That sounded like such a personal injury lawyer like commercial. I really didn't like that. As I was saying my phone number, I was like, I just turned myself into the lawyer I never wanted to be. Like, have you been hit by a car? Like, no.
Corey has just covered all age brackets from top to bottom. And on that note, I just want to say thank you once again to our event sponsor, Pays, as well as to our exclusive media sponsor, XBiz. Thank you so much for your support on these fantastic legal impact seminars brought to you by Silverstein Legal. Once again, I'm Dr. Chantel Tibbles, and we were so happy to have you here today. Thank you again to Cathy. Thank you again to Marie. Your leadership and your thoughts in this industry are amazing. Corey, as always, you're the best. There's no other attorney but you. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time.